Hey, Jermar, early in the game, it seemed like it was kind of a tough sled in there. What changed? What changed for you in the line there?
I think first half we all as an offense we started off slow. You know, I think it was the first game we had to get our jitters out in the first game. I feel like second half, coach talked to us a little bit about energy and coming out with a different mindset, and that's what we did. But we should with this upcoming week, we know what to do now.
Did you feel like early on you were having trouble finding the holes, and then you started finding them, or
Nah, not early on. I just feel like there was a couple of mistakes that happened on offense. Like one person would miss a block, or sometimes I would miss a read, and we just had to come out with a different mindset and come out and make corrections in the second half.
that the last touchdown run you had where you kind of ran over a couple of guys? Is that kind of indicative of the kind of style what you're changed to your game this year? You're a little more physical.
Yeah, this off season I've been working on my weight, working on my speed, and putting on more pounds and working on my diet. But I'll say I'm more of a balance back then. You know, that physical, just power back.
How frustrating was that those first three drives to come out and obviously not get the result you guys wanted? And what do you think kind of changed there later in the first quarter, and then the third quarter, fourth quarter as well?
It was very frustrating coming out, starting very slow, going three and out three times. But I think that happened because our energy on the sideline wasn't high enough. We started off sideline, people was quiet on the sideline, not cheering for their own teammates, and I felt like the second half, we got some momentum going. Start driving the ball down the field, and that's what picked it up.
Talk about that lack of energy. How much of there not being a home crowd had to do with that?
I think it has to do a lot with it. I think we need to learn to just have that energy in yourself and bring that into the game.
Brian, just maybe start with just sort of your assessment of Tristan's performance on Saturday.
Um, I thought there were a lot of good things, and particularly, in the second half, he operated some 2-minute drills well. I thought he made a lot of good decisions with the football. Obviously, there were things that he missed, particularly early in the game, and whether it was a read or maybe just a decision not to throw it somewhere, but overall, for the first start, I thought there were a lot of good things to build on. I thought he took care of the football. He did a pretty good job on third down, and then in the red zone, we were pretty efficient in the red zone. So there were some things to build on, and definitely some areas to clean up.
What happened on those first three series, and how did you guys address?
Yeah, it's just it was just starting slow and just a lack of execution, and it's just it was bad football. That's what we talk about when you got 9 or 10 guys doing it right, and one guy either getting beat or missing his assignment. And unfortunately, in the first 3 drives of the game, we couldn't get out of our own way, and the first 3 and outs, that really ultimately ended up killing us. Just started way too slow, and in both halves, and that's been a point of emphasis, is get going and start fast this week.
It looked like Tristan and Trevon kind of got something going there in the second half, and I'm wondering, just like with Luton, is it important for a guy to have I don't know, lack of a better term, a security blanket or somebody that they know they can go to on a regular basis?
I think so, and I know that Tristan, and he feels really comfortable with Trevon, and that was really promising to see. And I just think right now, without kind of that spring, we're and us being kind of a young, or I guess some new faces in there, we're still I think trying to figure all that stuff figure that stuff out. But that was really good to see in the second half, those guys be able to get into a little bit of a rhythm, and I think anytime a quarterback's got a guy that he really trusts, it is going to be open. I think that's a really positive thing.
How would you assess the offensive line play from Saturday?
I would say just like the rest of the offense was inconsistent. There were some times where we were doing a nice job. We were picking up pressures and executing at a high level. And there were a lot of times where a guy was either getting beat or missing an assignment. We gave up 4 sacks. And so that was something that was, I know that Coach M and us, we weren't real pleased with, but I just think it was just at times a lack of attention to detail and some missed assignments and then getting beat in some one-on-one situations, and definitely got to improve in that position group, but as an entire offense.
Jonathan had said yesterday that he thought that was Noose's best game of his career or right up there. What specifically did he do well?
I thought he handled, I thought he played physical, and that was something that stood out to me when we watched the tape, but physical and then handled their movements up front and did a nice job assignment wise. So, but I think the physicality was something that stood out to me.
What was kind of your assessment of the wide receiver group, especially there in that first half?
And I really think it wasn't one position group. It was just us collectively, just not executing at a high enough level consistently. And, we watched the film on Sunday, and he was just pointed out, and it was like, I could show a clip of each position group kind of taking their turn in those first, 10 plays of the game, where somebody was either missing assignment or getting beat or not executing the stuff that we do. And I did think that they showed up and particularly in some of those 2-minute situations as we got down and kind of let it come back. And I thought they did a nice job in the 2-minute drill of pushing through. We were running a lot of plays. Those guys were pretty gassed, but I thought they did a nice job of kind of pushing through and continue to execute and put some drives together late in the game to give us a chance.
How did you feel like the 2 guys on the left side did for their first start?
Of the O-line?
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of learning opportunities. Like I said, I think there were some clips that we could point out to where, hey, these are some great things and show some promise, and then some things where, shoot, we got to keep getting better every week. And so work in progress, I guess, would be the best word, but some promising things as well.
I love that, learning opportunities.
Yeah.
It looked like Washington State was coming up and crowding the line a lot, and almost looked like they were daring Tristan to throw. I don't know. Did they back up a lot out of that, or did they bring a lot of guys?
They were loading up the box. I think that was a definite thought of theirs to try to get an extra guy down in there to stop Jermar, and then they were playing a lot of cover 3, bailing the corners out. So it was tough to get the ball really down the field with those corners bailing out. And I thought we did a nice job kind of in the intermediate pass game, when we got settled down there in the first half and then at times in the second half. But that's something that we talk about, kind of being balanced on offense. Is if people are going to load up the box like that, we've got to take advantage of the pass game and make them pay for it. And I just didn't think we did a good enough job of that on Saturday.
So that wasn't one of those defenses though where you could set up a play to go deep downfield. You had to kind of get the ball out quick.
It was, well, I wouldn't say necessarily quicker, and it wasn't necessarily that. It was just kind of the holes in that coverage were more intermediate areas, I guess, as opposed to just being able to launch it over the top, with the safety being really deep and the corners bailing out to play a little higher, softer.
Right.
What were your thoughts on the play of Luke Musgrave coming out, getting 3 catches? And what do you feel like he brings to this team at the tight end position?
Well, I think he gives us the ability to get down the field, and that's something at times we saw with Noah when he was healthy in the past couple of years. But being able to flex him out, I think, was something that we did a little bit that game, and I think we're just scratching the surface with what we can do with him. A really, really talented guy, and he made some big plays for us, I think that there were some plays that, that some opportunities that I think that he can make moving forward, that I think we can continue to be kind of creative in the ways that we're utilizing him.
You feel like he's really developing a chemistry with Tristan and the rest of the offensive line as well?
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think I figure it's like we're still kind of figuring ourselves out, our identity out as an offense with so many new guys. Is how are we're still, I think, learning about what are guys' strengths and how we can take advantage of them. And I think that's something that, it's just, we're going to kind of evolve as this beginning part of the season goes.
You feel like Musgrave has a pretty high ceiling? I mean, I think he had 2 total catches last year. He had 3 in his first game this year.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think his ceiling's, I mean, he's got a really high ceiling. I mean, he's one of the more talented guys that I've been around. And I've also been impressed last game. I thought he worked himself in the off season to get a little bit more physical and be a little more consistent in the run game. And I know that's been a focus of those guys in the tight end room with Coach Wozniak.
What kind of happened with you guys there in those first 3 drives? It just seemed like weren't able to get things moving the way you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, we just came out a little slow. We weren't really executing. Part of that's on me. They lean on me to be a playmaker, and I didn't really step up until later in the second half. So I feel like I just gotta play a little harder, execute a little better in the first half, and we'll be better.
Is there anything that specifically changed there in the second half? Were they giving you anything more over the middle?
I wouldn't say anything, necessarily changed. We just all 11 guys were, doing our assignment. That's really the biggest thing when we're not playing well. We got 9 or 10 guys doing the right thing, and then one guy who messes it up for everybody.
Trevon, it seemed like in the second half, you and Tristan got something going. Is that something you guys talk about, is kind of, getting a connection going between the two of you? Because it seems like a quarterback needs a guy to bail him out on occasion.
I mean, sometimes, I'm the most experienced receiver in the room. I've been doing it for a while. But I still expect myself to be better. I could be a lot better. I got a lot of stuff to improve on. But, Tristan trusts me. The coaches trust me to make plays. So I'm gonna keep trying to do, what I got to do to, just help the team win.
How did you see Tristan's confidence kind of grow in the second half there? Do you think that was important for him to have that third, fourth quarter go well?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Tristan played, really well for the most part. Everybody has things that they can improve on. But, he was out there, playing confident, a lot more confident in the second half. It was just good to see, when he realized, that he was out there, starting the ball a little bit, just how effective our offense was.
In that first quarter, was it bizarre to go out there for the first couple of drives and not have fans in the stands and try to get used to that?
Yeah, it was a little weird. Like Luke said, it's kind of like a scrimmage. We have to bring our own energy. It was quiet, so it was a little different. But we got the little paper cutouts, everybody there, so that kind of helps and pump the crowd noise in there. But besides that, it's a game, so you got to go out and perform regardless.
How do you go about bringing your own energy? Is it literally as simple as just being loud on the sideline and kind of trying to create a lot of noise?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's about the noise. I'd say it's more about like the mindset of coming out and just starting fast and doing the things that we didn't really do very well on Saturday. Yeah, it doesn't really have to do much with like the noise aspect. It's just kind of like that mindset that we're gonna go out and attack from the beginning.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open up for questions for Luke Musgrave.
Hey, Luke, how did it feel to actually just be able to get out and finally play? The season starting late and all the uncertainty beforehand.
Oh, it felt amazing. I think a few of us the week leading into the game were still in disbelief that we were even playing. We're like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. So we were excited to play, and we're glad that it's finally happening.
how did it feel to really get involved in the offense and have 3 catches? And do you feel like that's something you'll be able to keep contributing like that as the season goes on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a lot of really talented receivers, but it felt awesome to be really a part of the offense. And you know, from last year being kind of the third guy to being, you know, running with the ones, it was awesome. And we got a lot of receivers, and we got a lot of talent that we can spread the ball around, so that benefits everybody.
How has the chemistry been with Tristan at quarterback and just and with the offensive line?
It's been really good. I think coming in that game, we all had some pregame jitters, and we didn't probably connect on as many passes and runs as we wanted to, but second half we kind of hit a groove, and I think the chemistry built throughout the game, and it's been building throughout this whole fall camp. So it's really good in my opinion. I think all the receivers and Tristan and linemen would agree.
What's it feel like with no fans? Is it kind of try to create your own energy, or just how different is it without fans?
Yeah, it's different. It feels a little bit like a scrimmage, and that's something we're probably going to have to get used to. We got to bring our own energy to the game because it really just feels like almost like a scrimmage coming out there with no fans. But we can bring it. We'll get better, and we did get better throughout that game. But it's probably definitely a learning curve that we're going to get used to this season.
For you yourself, what did you work on most in the in this off season from last year to this year?
You know, blocking. I really worked on kind of my game as a whole. I thought that I needed to get better blocking because you know, obviously we all have stuff to improve on. So blocking, I got my weight up. I wanted to stay fast, so I was working on gaining weight the right way, and so I think I've improved in blocking. I still have a lot of room to cover on every aspect of my game, but I think that's probably the big one was blocking, and also cleaning up my routes and running them, not relying on just speed, relying on precise route running and reading the defense.
Did you get any good advice from your dad or your uncle after Saturday's game?
Oh, nothing. I mean, other than positivity. Nah, I think they were really just happy that we got to play a game. Football's fun, and it's always fun to play. So they were just happy that we got to play, and I got to be a part of the offense. And yeah, that's what I got.